Hello. Um, I just finished watching a show called Creature Commandos, which is um, it's the first DC. Well, I guess unless you count Peacemaker, but it's the first thing James Gunn did with DC. It is in the same universe as Superman, so it's in his new DC universe connected. It is also um, on HBO Max. It's an animated show about a group of monsters who all. It's kind of like Suicide Squad, but they're all. The gimmick is that they're all monsters. Right? And in each of the episodes, they tend to explore the backstory of one of the monsters. Uh, and I just finished it. It's a good show. It's quite fun. Depressing, really depressing, but that's kind of the point. Because they're all monsters and they're all kind of, well, most of them at least are, well, actually, only like two of them are bad guys. Um, there's five of them. There's a fish lady. She's definitely not a bad guy. There's GI Robot, who's just a robot who kills Nazis, and he is in prison because he killed a bunch of neo Nazis while they were having a neo Nazi meeting. So he got arrested. They arrested him even though he's a robot. And then there's the Bride of Frankenstein. Um, she is debatably a villain. Um, I mean, she's Frankenstein's bride. She was made for him, and then she kind of fell in love with Dr. Frankenstein, and then the monster got jealous and killed the doctor, and she became very cynical and hated him, and he's been stalking her for like hundreds of years. And I don't remember how she ends up on the team. I don't know how she got arrested. Um, and then there's the Weasel, who was in the Suicide Squad movie. He's kind of just a wild animal. Um, and then there's Dr. Phosphorus, who is kind of the only one who's like objectively a bit of a villain. But each of them get a sad backstory, and you you get to, I guess, kind of agree with them. Like they're not. The point of it is that they're not the monsters, right? That's like the idea. It's not the most complex theme, but like they're a group of monsters, but they're not the ones who are monsters, you know? Uh, and none of them were made monsters. None of them started as monsters either. Like, I think the first one you find out is the Bride of Frankenstein's backstory, where uh, he killed her, and then I haven't seen hers in a while. So, to be honest, I don't know. You might also see the leader is Rick Flag, who was in Superman. He was the senator who trusted Superman but had to arrest him. He was the one that's like, the courts have decided that you don't currently have any rights. You know, that guy. Um, he's in charge of this team in the show. But there's a tragic backstory for G.I. Robot, where you get to see like how he ended up in prison, and he was in the World War with like his platoon, and he was great at killing Nazis, and he liked it, and they liked him. And then he, after the World War, didn't have much of a purpose, got shopped around. Some neo-Nazi picked him up, I guess didn't realize that he was made to kill Nazis. Uh, and he was like, "We're trying to save the country. You're a true American like us." And then took him to a neo-Nazi meeting, and then he killed all of them. And it was very satisfying. It was a very fun fight scene. I guess it wasn't much of a fight. He just slaughtered like 30 neo-Nazis, but that's fair. Uh, and then there's you see the Weasel's backstory. God, his was so sad. He's kind of like an animal. I mean, he is an animal. And he like makes friends with this group of children. Like they start playing with him and spending time with him, and then they uh, end up breaking into their school late one night or after school one day, and some old man sees the weasel with them, and he thinks it's a monster, and then he goes in to try and kill the weasel because he thinks that it took the kids into the school. But I mean, he's like, there's a fire, and he's shooting at a gas tank, and the whole school catches on fire. It kills most of the kids. The weasel tries to save one of them, um, but the cops are there, and they see him carrying the kid and just start shooting. Like the most of the background villain stories in this, well, maybe not most of them. At least two of them are caused almost entirely by cops just shooting everything they see. So they shoot at the weasel, and they shoot him a bunch of times, and he drops the kid, and then the kid gets buried under debris, and instead of going to try and help the kid, the cops instead tackle the weasel, while the kid's like 5 feet in front of them, being buried under burning wood and dying, and then she dies, obviously, and the weasel is deeply sad, and he can't tell anyone what happened because he can't speak. So it's like, damn, it's very sad. Uh, and then there's the fish girl, and she has this, like, she was born just like with a birth defect, that not one that made her a fish, but one that meant she couldn't breathe. Her lungs were filled with fluid. And then her like genetic engineering father was trying everything to make her better, and he made these machines to keep her alive until he tried gene altering and accidentally turned her into a fish person by giving her like amphibian DNA. Um, and then she was normal for a while, being homeschooled obviously, and she went to school because he thought she needed to socialize. She got bullied a lot, um, and so she ran away. And then they started like treating her like a cryptid. And when they found her, they fished her out, um, and we're just like gonna. I mean, they were just taking her to prison because she was in the water. The point is that everyone else involved is a monster and not the monsters, obviously. And her dad breaks through like the police line to talk to her, and the cops keep yelling at him to go back, and he's just talking to her instead of going back, and a cop just shoots him, and they take her away. He just kills him. Realistic, but absolutely devastating. And then Dr. Phosphorus, the only one who's kind of a villain, his might be the saddest. He is trying to come up with a cure for cancer, but he's being funded by this like evil mob boss. Um, and he doesn't want to deal with him, but he has to for the funding, and then the mob boss is going to sell all of his information to like some fascist country, and he gives him fake data, and then the mob boss is told by the other country that the data was fake, And so he goes and kills Dr. Phosphorus's wife and daughter, and then um, make him like they make it look like he did it, not in a like just setting him up after they kidnap him way, in a way that they throw him on top of his dead family and then make him like put his hand in the blood and touch their face. Like it's awful. And then it's very satisfying when they after they try to kill him with his machine, like overload him with radiation. Obviously, it gives him superpowers. Um, and after they try to kill him, it is very satisfying to then see him get out and use his. He's like a irradiated skeleton who can burn through anything. Uh, he goes less satisfying that he kills the child, but he goes to the guy who did it first, and he kills his entire family. And then he kills everyone else who was there in brutal fashion. But then he does take over his criminal enterprise and become a villain. And then you get to see Batman. He gets stopped by Batman. You don't like see Batman's face, but you see Batman, so you also see Superman, and you see Wonder Woman, and you see Hawk Girl, and you see all of them were just in a flash forward to like a future where the world ends or whatever. Um, yeah, but it's a good show. Yeah, it's a good show. Sorry to spoil it, but yeah, you probably should have stopped listening if you wanted to watch it without spoilers. It's been out for a while though. I should have already seen it, but I didn't until just now. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the show and and just talk a little. I've got um I've got this drawing going, and it's I don't know. I feel like I'm not alone in this. I'm not unique, but I have this problem where like I don't I really hate doing things poorly. Like I like being good at things. And I really don't it's I like being good at things, but even more than that, I hate being bad at things. No, I don't know if that's true actually. I think that might be the other way around. I really don't like being bad at things, but it's so much more satisfying to be good at something, which I think is fair. Um, and like lose, nobody enjoys losing. Maybe I don't handle it as well as other people, and it's obviously it's not good to see like to view doing something poorly as losing is obviously an unhealthy mindset, and it's not really how I feel. Like I don't feel like I've lost at something whenever I draw something and it looks like a 12-year-old drew it, or I I don't know, like I write a piece of music and it sounds bad, uh, or am just not good at something I try. And it's an interesting dilemma. It's an interesting dilemma because the the problem is, the fact is, that's what the point of the mask is. No, the fact is that I am just I'm just not very frequently bad at things. I'm good at most of the things that I attempt, which is maybe an annoying thing to say, but it also is mostly true in my experience. Like I don't know, I succeed more often than I fail. Um, and I mean, even with some things that I was bad at, like there are times where I want to be good at something, right? And I really am not. I don't. I mean, sometimes you just don't start good at something, uh, and I've worked hard to get good at it, and I've actually gotten good at it to some degree that makes me happy, right? Like I did practice drawing. Not that I'm great at it, but I'm a lot better than I was, you know, a few months ago. Because I was like, man, I wish I could draw. And so I started doodling. And I would never show anyone anything before I thought it was good. But I don't know. I feel like more often than not, I just stop doing things whenever I don't feel good at them. I think maybe I just don't value some activities enough to get good at them. Maybe I don't have any problems at all. Maybe I'm perfect and I'm fine. And everything I'm bad at is stupid anyway. But no, I think I don't know. There's nothing more frustrating than being bad at something that you want to be good at. That's not true. There's a lot of things more frustrating than that, but still, I don't like it, and so usually I either don't try that thing anymore or I get good at it. Right? And I guess that's kind of how everybody does it. But it's I don't know. Something that I was thinking about is all. I was just thinking about how how quickly an activity begins to bore me if I'm not succeeding or having fun. Which I guess not having fun, that's fair, right? But I don't know. I was just thinking, and I wanted to talk, and I finished the show, and I wanted to yap. So I recorded this, and I'm probably gonna be done recording it in a few seconds. So I hope you enjoyed some more ramblings, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.